welcome on in to When Worlds Collide, episode 51. As you can see,
Ooh, baby.
ooh, baby is right, man. Today we got a very special guest on with us. Piffin, what's up, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, bro. So we do have like a little bit of a tradition around here, and even though it's 10:24 in the morning, I gotta give the people what they want. So,
Oh God.
you know how we start these things, a little bit of a crack.
Oh my God.
And that is the crack of a bush light, Piffin.
Okay. All right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Maybe in Australia, but 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, gotta get the people what they want. So
I'd love to join you, but I'm drinking coffee this morning.
yeah, I mean that's completely fair.
I just had a Red Bull. Maybe I should have had some vodka with it if I knew of the
Ooh.
ritual.
Yeah, there you go. Jumpstart the day. All right, so we're gonna start with our gaming question of the day. So have you ever? I'll start with you, Fish. I won't throw to Piffin first. Fish, have you ever had a dirty dream about an anime character or a video game character?
Oh God.
And if not, who would you pick?
I haven't had a dirty dream about any of them, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Laura Croft.
Laura Croft? All right.
From Tomb Raider? Oh my God.
Wait, you're going animated Laura Croft, not like...
It's got to be the 2D Lara Croft though, with the
Oh yeah,
the 2D Lara
the
Croft.
old school Laura Croft.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. So, Pip, are you going with the 2D Laura Croft, or who are you going with?
Okay, so I must admit I have dreamt of Halo, but I've dreamt of mainly playing it. I've never dreamt of a dirty version, but if I did, Halo 4 Cortana.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, bro.
I would be lying if I also didn't think about Cortana, but oh my God. Whew. I mean, growing up with her, I mean, she was something else.
Yeah.
We grew up with
Whispering
her
in my ear
already.
all those years. She secretly wants it, no doubt.
Oh my God. I would go further with that, but I'm gonna hold myself back.
Yeah, dude. So I was just thinking about this because we actually had like this kind of conversation in Discord the other day when I was talking with Ad and Mass. So my two that I isolated, they're anime. They weren't video game characters, but Misa from Death Note.
Oh yeah.
And then Elizabeth from Seven Deadly Sins. Meliodas.
Oh my God.
I'm not much of an anime guy or a weeb, so I don't have. I think that there's one Dragon Ball Z character, and I could be getting it wrong, but Bulma, I think.
Yeah, Bulma.
The one with the kind of like shoulder length hair.
Yeah, Bulma's a bad bitch.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Bulma's great. I love Bulma.
Yeah, I love Bulma too. She's so funny because like she literally like puts Vegeta in his place, and he's like one of the strongest Saiyans.
Oh yeah, she definitely wore the pants for sure. Like I didn't even watch the show, and like I saw like snippets of it, and I was like, oh yeah, she's the one in charge.
All right, Piff, let's hop right into the interview here, man. So we'll start you off easy. We want to get to know you a little bit. So, what was your first introduction into video games? Like, where did it all start for you?
Where it all began, I mean, if we're talking in general, probably on my dad's laptop playing like those pinball games.
Okay,
When I was like,
There we go.
like 8 or 9. But if we're going to consoles, it was actually surprisingly, since I'm so gung-ho about Halo, my first console was a PS2, and the main games I played on it were Medal of Honor, Rising Sun, and Need for Speed Underground, the first one. Both of them I played like pretty much once a week whenever I would visit my dad. And then, I was rocking the PS2 for a couple of years before I discovered the glory that is Halo.
Dude, I was actually on the same page as you. We got lucky enough we won a PlayStation 2 at our Halloween party, like growing up at grade school. Like my mom put in one ticket, dude, and we won the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So that's how I got like our console. And I do remember Need for Speed. And I actually was just talking about Need for Speed Underground 2 yesterday because I work in cardiac rehab. We play older music, and Riders on the Storm came on. And immediately remembered Need for Speed Underground 2, the loading screen. This Riders
Oh
of
yeah.
the Storm remixed with Snoop Dogg. Oh
Yeah.
my god, so fire.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Dude, if you liked the Need for Speed Underground 2 soundtrack, you have, I don't know if you've heard it yet, but I highly recommend you look into the first game soundtrack. That was like one of the main reasons. I'm not even a big racing guy. Like their racing games are fun, but dude, the soundtrack really made the game for me, like made it like replayable. Like there were so many good songs on it.
Oh yeah, I'll be checking Spotify out after we're done here. But so when did you first get into Halo then? If you had the PS2, was it on the 360 you first got into Halo, or when did that start?
I played here and there at friends' houses. I think I played Combat Evolved in like custom games a handful of times in like the story mode. And then my first real experience with Halo was playing at my neighbor's house. We would do like Halo 2 custom games. And then I got my 360 the same year Halo 3 came out. So like I was playing Halo 2 multiplayer right before Halo 3 dropped. And that's what was like my first online multiplayer experience with shooters was actually with Halo 2 in 2007.
Wow, that's so sick, dude. Yeah, I didn't get online until the tail end of Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 was like my first like online experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know like how close it was when Halo 3 dropped, but it was like right around that time. But I
Yeah.
remember Call of
If
Duty
you're
was the
talking
first
about
one.
COD 4, if you're talking about COD 4, or are you talking about Modern Warfare 1? Or are they the same game? I mix it
Yeah,
up.
COD 4, Modern Warfare 1, yeah.
I'm almost positive they dropped the same year. I think COD 4 like dropped like a couple of months. Like Halo 3 dropped in September. I think COD dropped in like October, maybe November of the same year. I mean, you're more than welcome to Google it, but I'm almost positive they dropped within the same year of each other.
That sounds right because I think that was the year that was just loaded with like the best games like ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, did we get
Yeah,
Gears
the
of
most
War that year
popular.
too?
Ah, dude. I
Oh
can't
man.
remember that far back, but I do remember dude, so many games were out that year. It was so good.
So Piff, you mentioned like playing custom games. Did you ever have like a favorite custom game growing up with the buddies?
Oh, favorite custom games? Those probably didn't come around till like Halo 3. I was mainly like a multiplayer guy, and I only started playing custom games like when I was revisiting Halo 3. But if I had to pick one, it would hands down be Halo on Halo. Oh man, so much fun. That's like one of the few custom games like I could play on loop over and over again, and I feel like most of the community it's really hard to get tired of that one.
Or for the people that don't know like that custom game in particular, how would you describe it?
So basically, it's a form of infection where there's one zombie sits in the middle of the map, and then everybody drives on an outer ring trying to get to the finish line, and then whoever gets to the finish line first without being killed by the zombie gets their chance to kill the zombie. There's usually 10 rounds of it depending on which version you're playing, and
Hmm.
it's like there's a lot of different modes of the circuit that you race around, but the original is probably the best.
It sounds like a blast. I actually don't know if I had the pleasure of trying that out.
I don't think I've played that either. That sounds super fun.
You guys have not lived.
We'll have to hop into one of your custom game nights and get some Halo on Halo going.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. So kind of want to dive more into um some of the stuff you do within the Halo community, starting with your trips to Orlando and Worlds. So before we kind of talk about your experiences there, I know you actually had the pleasure of officiating some of the events there. So if somebody like wanted to get involved in officiating, like what was the path you took, or what would be the path you suggest somebody take to get involved in something like that?
So if I don't remember who referred me, but it's more of a networking thing than anything else. Like I knew several people like Jake McCoach of Penn Halo, which is no longer an org. I also knew Icy Chiller from UGC. I knew Grayson Mayo or Dragon Knight. I believe he was affiliated with Esports Engine, and Esports Engine is actually the company that brought me on board. But I pretty much knew all those people. I asked them like, "Hey, listen, I really want to work these HCS events. Where do I even like begin?" And they added me to some discords. They gave me some emails. I actually had a friend. I don't know if you know him, Fatal HCS, or he goes by Fatal Flaw.
Gotcha,
He
dude. Yeah.
actually was at I don't remember which major he was at last year, but he talked to people, or no, it was Oddzilla. It was Oddzilla or Fatal or both of them. They talked to people at the event that I was yet to go to, and they asked like, "Hey, listen, one of my friends wants to work the next HCS event. Who does he reach out to?" So honestly, I reached out to so many people. I don't know which connection actually made it possible, but yeah, it's just throwing as many lines out there as possible. I think is the key to getting into like the getting into that world.
So, what are some of the events that you officiated? Like, has it been over 10, or like, what's the kind of gauge,
Well,
like, where you at?
oh man, including Worlds in terms of Halo events, because like my job outside of Halo, I'm an independent contractor and I've worked countless events, all kinds of events. But
Yeah.
in the Halo sphere, I've only worked three, and one of them was right before COVID for UGC in Atlantic City. That's actually I worked for through Icy Chiller, aka Ryan Weaver. I was super grateful for the opportunity. Me and my friend Hypure, we admin the Halo 3 FFA there, and we met all kinds of actual freaking legends, including Dren, Porky
Oh,
J,
that's sick.
Great Stick, Gilkey, Ryan Noob, I believe, competed, and like
Oh man,
I'm forgetting so many names, but that was like my first experience at like like an official LAN outside of like Microsoft Store tournaments and like GameStop tournaments.
that's awesome, bro. So what would you say is the most challenging part of like trying to officiate these events?
Probably directing everybody and making sure the matches are going as scheduled because here's the thing, like I don't know if it's always been the case, but at HCS Orlando and HCS Worlds of last season, what we had to do was nobody could recover their gamer tags. We had to use gamer
Oh
tags that were
no.
assigned to each console. So the problem with that is if you've played Infinite, dude, I have been playing Infinite for almost a year and I've still not fine-tuned my settings. So imagine having to hop onto a brand new console, plug in your
Oh my
controller,
god,
and then,
dude.
and then adjust all your settings. And then a lot of the pros go into like a bot mode or training mode or weapon drills just to make sure like everything's right. Like I don't know how they did it. I would have had to write everything down or take screenshots of all my settings just to like map them accurately. And yeah, that probably was the most time consuming. And like, you don't want to rush these people. They paid to play the game. A lot of them traveled across the country or
Right.
across oceans to come here and play. And you got to be professional and courteous and understanding with them and you got to, do your best to accommodate them, but at the same time,
We're
you
trying to
can't
move
let
things along.
you got to move things along and
Mm-hmm.
like even when we do that, even when we're trying to be prompt and on time, usually like for example the FFA at HCS Worlds, we had so many resets on the finals that like it was scheduled to end I believe at 8:30 and we ended at 10:30.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not just from that finals match running long, but it was also just like all the matches leading up to that. Just like, people would sit down, some people would be running late, we'd have to do last calls and then they
Yeah,
have to
all
sit
the in
down.
betweens.
Yeah, exactly. That adds up and it adds up and then it overlaps and then people are like, "Hey, my match was supposed to be an hour ago." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, dude. I'm sorry. We're trying to just, go with the flow, roll with the punches."
Dude, I remember there's one Halo update over the last year where it reset all my settings. Like,
Yeah,
and
it did the same thing for me too.
dude, I hopped in a rank game and it's like this does not feel right. What is going on? I had guys on my team cussing me out and shit. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, these are not my settings. Like my whole shit's fucked right now. Like, but
That's definitely happened to me once or twice. Like I think before the reset of season two, that definitely
yeah,
happened to me a couple times where I just loaded into the game and maybe I didn't do a hard reset of the game and it just like completely messed up my settings.
yeah, my FOV, my sensitivity, everything. I was just like,
Everything for me was changed just back to default. Like I had to go through every single thing again, and I was just like, okay. And like I remembered because I was playing like a bunch of Halo Infinite right when it first released, like in season one. Like we were just playing it
yeah, we were
religiously,
grinding, yeah.
and then after like we hit Onyx and then like finished the battle pass and everything, I took like I don't know like a week or two break off, and I came back and then just all my settings were default and I was just like, guys, I can't do this. Like I spent like probably half an hour going through my settings again just so it felt almost the same again
Yeah,
because I
so
forgot what I put on there.
yeah, so imagine being at a tournament and having
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no
And
bueno.
another thing, another fun fact that I learned from my friend C4 from what he's from his experience, he said the best way to prepare for LANs, especially like HCS LANs, is to play without sound because apparently the venue is so loud. Even when you have your headsets and as noise canceling they are, it's impossible to hear,
Oh,
according to like what I've
that's
heard
actually
from
kind
people
of
competing.
dope.
Yeah.
Okay. So outside of officiating, I know like at least within the HLO community, you've done a lot of commentary. Have you had an opportunity to do any commentary at any of these events?
So just to clarify, are you referring to doing commentary at the HCS events or for HLO, the community?
So I know you've done the HLO ones, but have you had a chance to do any at like any of these Halo events?
Oh, so the only time I've done any casting or hosting has been the community events that you mentioned. When I'm at the HCS events, the only roles I've really filled were either refs or I've worked like with merch booth and merch sales, like merch setup. But yeah, dude, that would be an honor if like they brought me on as a guest caster, even for like a side station or something.
Oh yeah, man. So I do have some more questions about the Halo Lives On community, but before we get there, if you had to identify, just like a few things about the Halo events that are your favorite, or things that you would change or have more of, like what would you kind of isolate there?
Um, I think one thing would be because I'm a born and raised in New York City. I would love to see a big Halo event in New York City. There used to be some pretty decent Microsoft Store tournaments there, but if we had like an HCS event in like Times Square or something, that would be something I'd love to see. And
Yeah, okay,
obviously,
I'm in on that. That sounds awesome, and that'd be a lot closer for me too. So
Yeah.
I think it'd also be like a lot easier for Halo players in New England. I know there's a pretty decent scene in Pennsylvania for Halo players. Players from New Jersey would come, so I think there would be a decent turnout.
oh yeah, man. Well, let's put the petition in. But all right, let's move on to the Halo Lives On community, man. So, um, I was just looking at like the roster there, and it looks like you've eclipsed over 400 members of the community now, man. First off, congratulations, that's amazing.
hmm
Um, did you ever expect like Halo Lives On to reach that capacity, or like what was your intention when you first started it?
So Halo is on its origins as a community. It stems back to the Facebook group, which is actually currently at 16,000 members.
Oh shit!
And
Well,
There we go.
yeah, I started it in 2013. I believe that was during the Halo 4 days. So I played Halo 4 a fair amount. I feel like I thought, what was the top rank? 126 or 132, something like that.
Jeez.
And and I got that pretty quick. And I maxed out, and I was not really feeling the multiplayer, wasn't vibing with a lot of the maps. And I went back to Halo 3 on the 360. And I wasn't having the best experience there because the problem was most of my friends were still playing Halo 4. So when I would be playing Halo 3, I'd be matching like these teams of 4 or teams of 5 in Social Slayer. I'd have griefers on my team. I'd have AFKs on my team. And I'd be like having to sweat every social game. And that was just I was just trying to like play and chill and vibe out a lot of times. And like, it's fun to sweat, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely like I call myself semi-casual because sometimes I'm competitive and sometimes I'm just ass at the game. So I'm like in between there.
go ahead.
And
I know that all too true.
right, I think that's very relatable for a lot of players outside of the pro circuit. But yeah, so like
Mhm.
sometimes I just want to chill and I don't have to like be carrying my team or like either I have to force to carry my team or I'm getting absolutely destroyed by a four stack. So I actually started the Facebook group as a way to like coordinate make like getting teams on for like and Halo Lives On was originally called Halo 3 Lives On because I started it in the when Halo 4 was at its peak popularity when it was like the main game being played. So I was trying to get like more squads going for Halo 3 and like having a better online multiplayer experience for Halo 3. And the idea behind it was, we'd coordinate. I make a post in the Facebook group like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go live tonight. I want to play Social Slayer, I want to play Big Team, or I want to do custom games." And then whoever wants to join up, they either message my gamer tag that I provide in the post, or they comment and be, "Hey, listen, I'll be on at 9. I'll be on whenever. This is my gamer tag. Message me, add me, yada yada yada." So that's where it started. I really didn't expect it to get bigger than a couple hundred, but then it just really like snowballed, and it became it's like when it becomes like a creation into a community, that's when it's like you know it just completely shifted. Its goals completely shifted as well because I realized there were other people out there who wanted the same thing I did. So I really made the group kind of for myself and for like my friends to play Halo 3. And then I realized like, dude, this is like a tool or a resource that like so many other Halo players could utilize.
Mm-hmm.
So what is next for HLO then? Like what's the future got in store for the group as a whole?
So the goal is to increase our presence across multiple platforms. Our Twitter account is actually really close to hitting 500 followers, and we really want to roll out this LFG aspect on multiple platforms, including Twitter, including Discord. We're trying to ramp up the Discord as well, where we just so the idea we had for Twitter is people would tweet at Halo Lives On with their LFG requests. Like, say if you were looking for people to play with, or you had some kind of like custom game night, you'd be like, hey, at Halo Lives On, I'm going to be playing Infinite tonight. This is my gamer tag. This is my time zone. This is which Halo I'll be playing. And then we just like retweet it to all our followers. And then hopefully you get a couple pings out of that. You get a couple people, you meet a couple new people from the community. And same with Discord. You'd pop into our Discord, be like, hey, I'm playing tonight. If you're live streaming the event, you'd mention that. You'd be like, hey, listen, you can stop by. You can message my gamer tag. And just to keep that like whatever event you have, whether it's small scale or large scale, obviously a lot of large scale events have their own followings already, so they don't really need a Halo Zone resources much. But we do want to promote pretty much any kind of events that could use like a boost in participation, a boost in viewership, any grassroots events that have to do with Halo. Doesn't matter which Halo, we want to help out and like have some more people show up, have that networking going. And also another thing we started doing on my stream and with we're doing some collaborations is I'm trying to put on one community event once a month.
Just about to ask you about those.
And then you know what? I'll let you roll it out then.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna mention how I know there's a group of us from the Sandlot that participated in the free for all event you hosted this last weekend, which once again thank you. It was an awesome event. Once again thank you for putting that on. I saw a lot of people in the chat mentioning that they would like to see a Master Chief Collection tourney. Is that what's next in the works, or what do you think? And I know with the spectator mode it may be a little bit challenging, but is that a challenge you think that you're gonna take on, or what's next as far as the tourney?
So Halo Infinite being the latest title in the franchise, and the reason you mentioned the fact that we have spectator mode is two main reasons why I want to keep these community events that we're going to be casting and featuring to on Infinite pretty much. I love MCC, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fun custom games, and I actually do MCC Mondays, and usually we end the stream with like just custom games and anybody's free to join.
Mm-hmm.
But like these big feature events, just for the sake of simplicity, and also because I'm not sure if you're aware, but I am a complete console pleb. Like my gaming, my streaming, it's all run through my console. I don't use a capture card. I don't use a PC for any of it. The only thing I really do on my laptop afterwards is like the content creating aspect, where like I'm sharing highlights, I'm sharing clips, I'm trimming stuff. But otherwise, when I'm live, that's all being done from my Xbox. So for those reasons, particularly, and because I don't have the assets right now to really feature properly a MCC tournament or an MCC event, we are sticking to Infinite. We would love to do something like Halo 3 or Halo 2 or Reach even.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, our capabilities are strongest with Infinite, especially with all the new content coming out in the very near future. They're going to release Forge in a couple of days. So I think when Forge comes out,
can't wait, man.
yeah, less than a week. So I think right now we're gonna stay focused on Infinite, and we're gonna give like the attention that Infinite needs, like help bring some more popularity, bring some more eyes to that game, as many eyes as possible. I think there's already a lot of great orgs as well that are doing, and they have way more resources than I do at the moment, that are doing awesome tournaments. Like Tommy Koss throws on a lot of a lot of amazing events, and his affiliates as well. So right now we're focusing on our strengths, and we're focusing on like what we are actually capable of doing. So I think we're going to stick to Infinite, but we are open to MCC events, and we do smaller scale MCC events as well.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm digging the shirt, bro,
Thank you, man.
That's
Appreciate
a
it.
sweaty call out special.
Yes, sir. This is one of the few sweaty callouts designs that we have that is more tied into my personal streaming brand. We have almost every other. I used to like when I started out the store, I would incorporate my Skull Shield logo into like a lot of designs. But I felt like if we wanted to be relatable and reach a wider audience, we need something that's not as centered around me personally and is more of like a brand identity. So yeah, I'm wearing the Piftacular, kind of representing my personal brand as well as Sweaty Callouts brand. But yeah, if you'll see, we see more of the Sweaty McSweat mascot, blue emoji with the sweatband on him. Like he is way more dominant in the brand designs.
Okay, hell yeah, man. So, what was the kind of origin there then? Was that just kind of like an extension of Halo Lives On that just naturally progressed like that? You know, or
So sweaty callouts was actually a concept I developed a long time ago. A little bit of a backstory. When I was young, I had the fantasy that I think a lot of young Halo players had, like, oh man, I'm gonna be playing this game for a living. I'm gonna be playing on a professional level, And I told myself when I was younger, I had all these team inspirations like Final Boss, Triggers Down, Straight Ribbon, and I was like, listen, if I ever had a team, I would call it Sweaty Callouts. And I
fuck
actually
yeah, dude. I love that.
yeah, so that was a dream that it started as, and I had like a bunch of like references and Halo throwaway jokes, and I would always put the hashtag sweaty callouts to it, and these like I actually pulled it. It's on the sweaty callouts Twitter somewhere. I screenshotted myself posting in the Halo Lives On group, saying like I would say something funny my friend said related to Halo. Like one of my well, here's an example. My friend said, "Oh, he's like I had a dream last night. I woke up in sweat, screaming veto for rockets." That's like a reference to Halo 3 days. And I put hashtag sweat callouts after that. And like I really didn't. I love the idea of it. I loved it as a name and as like related to Halo. And like I said, it started out as like my fantasy team name. And I decided to bring it back last year, and I was like, you know what? I think this would make for a great apparel brand that's kind of like has the awareness, like where we I take Halo seriously, and like I'll make fun of myself. Like I get super invested in the game, and I take it seriously sometimes, but you got to be able to laugh at that. And I think what Sweaty Callouts, a message behind it is like it's like that self awareness of like players taking themselves too seriously. Because if you think about competitive gaming, like a
Hmm.
lot of it's mental, a lot of it's telling yourself like, hey, I'm better than the opponent. Hey, I deserve to be here. I'm one of the
Mental
best in the
warfare,
game.
baby.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So like the sweaty callouts is kind of like acknowledges that, but also has some fun with it. If you look at some of our designs like Brody, even Strafe, semi-casual, that's another phrase I developed where like, there's semi-pros, there's pros, there's casual players, and since like I like to take myself seriously, but I know like self-awareness, I'm not one of the best Halo players out there. I like to think I'm competent. Sometimes I'm above average. So I call myself semi-casual because I play like a pro, or like I have the mindset of a pro. What is it called? Oh, I had a saying for this. It's like the heart of an onyx, but the thumbs of like a plat. That's pretty much where I'm at.
That's excellent.
So yeah, that's a
That's a
little bit of
great
like
analogy.
motivation behind sweaty callouts.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
So, do you have like a favorite like piece of merch then, or what's your favorite shirt?
Man, so I'm probably gonna go with the first official design that we had, which if you look at the site, it's called um, "Filthy Casual in the Streets, Sweaty Tryhard in the Sheets," and that's just the whole message behind it. And I thought that was a hilarious, like the "in the streets, in the sheets" template. I definitely wanted to apply it to Halo, and that was
Right.
the
Yeah,
first design I rolled out.
naturally. Awesome, man. Well, before we wrap up today, Piff, I have a little game that I just kind of put together yesterday. So we got news of the winter update, some of the sandbox like balancing changes. So I just wanted to play a game I'm referring to as Yay or Nay. So I'm gonna kind of just go down the list of some of the balancing changes coming to Infinite, and you could just tell me yay or nay. First one, I know there's a lot of very strong opinions on either side of this. The removal of snap sliding. What do you think, yay or nay?
I'm gonna have to, even though I don't think I'll ever be able to snap slide or I've never done it yet. I'm gonna say nay. I think it's like a skill gap concept that like don't really see the point of removing because so few people do it and so few people are able to utilize it. Is it really an exploit? And it's so hard to pull off. I personally don't see the point of removing something like that. It sounds kind of like it kind of reminds me when they removed those skill jumps like the pizza jump on streets.
Oh, so I was actually really pissed about that. Like,
And they got rid of in Halo 5 the spring jump too.
right?
Yeah, that I don't know why they did that because it was so sick to watch.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
I'm,
that's another thing was unable to do in Halo 5, but yeah, I don't see why they would remove something like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I haven't dabbled with the snap sliding. I just do the curb sliding. But yeah, like you said, the snap sliding is so difficult. Like 1% of the population is doing it. It's a skill gap, and it's not always practical in high tier ranked play. So I don't get the point of the removal. I think they're putting an emphasis on the wrong things.
So
I'll say this.
before we move on, what was like the difference between snap sliding and then like the curb sliding, the stuff that like we practice?
Snap sliding is basically curb sliding on crack.
Yeah. Oh, you get way more air. You go way faster. You go way further. It's actually crazy. I don't know if I think it was Milkway or some
Yeah, Milkway. Yeah, he was pretty
Milkway,
vocal
yeah.
about it on Twitter yesterday.
Mm.
Yeah, his runaround of live fire, I was just like, how? I almost thought he was like modding or something. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way, dude.
I'm gonna have to check out a couple videos then.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. So the next one we got on the list here, they buffed the plasma pistol, so now its intention is to help track at medium to close range, and it has an increased base damage of 20 to 28.
What? It's ridiculous.
I'll let Piffin go first, then I'll.
So I'm gonna say yay because I feel like it doesn't track like it used to in like the older Halos. And
agree.
another thing I hope it would bring back is its ability to disable vehicles. I still don't know why that's not a thing anymore. Maybe because of the shock weapons and the shock grenades.
I was
But I still
thoroughly
think that's
surprised by
something
that
to
change.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember shooting like a vehicle with a plasma pistol. I was like, wait,
Yeah, we all had the
what?
same reaction when we first played Infinite. You just charge up the plasma pistol and hit a vehicle, it would just still run you over. And you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, it should be shut down right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case where it's no longer that's one of its. I felt that was one of its key utilities, especially like if you think Halo 2, the
Yeah.
group combo. Like, its main reason was to take out shields and to disable vehicles. And even in Halo 3, the later Halos, then like why bring it back if you have an alternative and then just give it it's like limping around handicapped. I don't know. It just at that point remove it from the sandbox.
Right. Yeah, but I'm on the same page with you there. I'm glad they're helping with the tracking and increased base damage, so like it's actually more of a viable weapon within the sandbox. So next up we have the pulse carbine getting a buff. The intention is to help land more shots at close to medium range, and reduce its effectiveness at long range. I believe they're also nerfing the velocity though, so it should be more accurate at short to medium range, but the bullets travel a little bit slower.
Okay.
I'd say yay. I think that's going to make the gun more balanced. I feel like it's not utilized as much in close to medium range, but long range, like I get melted across the map. I'm like, and then I'm just like, I just get cleaned up one shot, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, dude, I got one BR shot, and I'm dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you yet again. I think most of these changes. So let's see, they're 2 for 3 right now. So not bad so far. Next one we got up is the commando. They buffed the commando so that there's more bullet magnetism to help land more shots at shorter ranges.
I kind of liked the challenge of learning the commando and getting used to commando. So I was actually like, sometimes I did feel like there was a shot registration issue with it, but otherwise I thought it was a pretty balanced gun.
Yeah.
So I might have to say nay on this, but I'm gonna have to see how it handles. So I don't know if I have another option, but for now I'll say nay. I kind of like the commando the way it was.
I wish I had a counterpoint, but I feel the exact same way. I want to actually feel how this one feels.
So, what does it mean by bullet magnetism at closer ranges? Does it just mean like you have more aim assist?
It's essentially.
Okay, because
It's
I
pretty
thought
much
the
the
gun.
registration is a little bit more lenient. Like your
Hmm.
hitboxes, you get more. You just get more leeway with your shots. Like if you think of the Halo 2 anniversary examples, when you're shooting people, you could be shooting like right next to their head, and you're still getting that hit registration that it's a headshot.
Oh, okay.
That's BMAG. Halo 2 anniversary and Halo 4 were notorious for BMAG, high BMAG.
Hmm.
That's why the rate of kill was so high because it was just so easy. Like it was so hard to outstrafe the Halo 2 anniversary BR.
Hmm.
All right, so we'll say 2.5 out of 4 right now.
Give it a half a
Fair enough.
point.
Yeah.
Compromise. I like the compromise.
Next up, we have the battle rifle getting a nerf. But the intention here is to increase the skill ceiling, so it's gonna make the final like headshot kill harder to achieve by having less bullet magnetism. And it's also gonna decrease the effectiveness of the battle rifle when you're firing from the hip at a longer range. So you have to kind of scope in at longer ranges, and that final headshot to tap them off, there's gonna be less magnetism. So like they said, the intention here is to increase the skill ceiling. Yeah, increase the skill ceiling with the battle rifle.
Hmm.
One of the things I've liked about Infinite throughout was the BR. That was probably like the main reason. All I played was ranked arena in the beginning because it was BR starts. With that being said, uh, I'll say yay to this. I'll
Okay,
say yay.
finally one that I think we can maybe have a little bit of a counterpoint here.
Okay.
I'm just nervous that they're gonna fuck around with the battle rifle too much, because like you mentioned at the beginning there, the battle rifle felt so good that like I am getting very nervous if they're gonna start tweaking the battle rifle.
Mm.
That was the one thing amongst all the weapons where I'm just like the battle rifle feels so goddamn good. So like if they're starting to tweak it, I just hope that they don't mess it up. So I'm gonna go nay just based on my nervousness that 343 is gonna mess it up.
I do recognize that as a concern, and I agree with your counterpoint actually. And what I'm thinking is, if they do mess it up, I think there's gonna be such a backlash, especially from like competitive players and like pretty much universally all competitive players, that if they do whiff it, they probably will just revert to the original. I think that's something they'd recognize because if you lose the competitive scene at this point, then you lose pretty much any attention this game's getting.
Right, fair enough.
Hmm.
Next one here, we got the frag grenade is getting a nerf. So it's going to have an increased detonation time by 0.2 seconds. And this is to attempt to allow players a little bit more time to react to grenades.
Thank God.
So that there's not so many trades, like melee, spam nade, and then you end up in a trade. So I don't know. What do you think about that one, Piff?
I've been having a lot of issues in Infinite in regards of nades because I'm a kind of guy that like if I feel like I'm gonna lose a close quarter engagement, I'll drop a nade. If
Yeah.
I could get a melee, I'll drop a nade, and my nades
Don't
just
explode.
disappear. They disappear like they never drop. I'll hear
Oh
them
my
drop,
god.
and I'll see myself committing the action mid death, and I've noticed this, and people brought it up on Twitter. So I'm gonna say that the fact that they're nerfing nades, I don't know if that's gonna fix that issue that I'm having. So I'm gonna have to say nay here.
Yeah. Uh, I think if the intention, um, if their intention actually comes to fruition, I think it's a yay. But I completely get what you're saying. Like I have at least 5 clips of me sticking somebody with a plasma grenade, and then I die, and then it never goes off.
I've had plasma
I
nades
swear,
stick to somebody, then fall off them, and the guy just walks through it and just takes no damage.
my plasmas will pass through people. Even while it's I'm blown away. I'm looking and I'm on stream. I'm like, yeah, am I hallucinating or is like chat seeing this as well? And it's just like I don't know what they did with the nade system, but hopefully that's something that's an issue that gets resolved very soon.
My only 2 cents on the issue is I want nades nerfed as much as possible because I swear to God, when I throw a nade, it like hits somebody in the face and it does like 10% damage to their shield. And then I just like I turn around a corner and then a nade just like flies directly in my face and one shots me. Like it just happens every game for me. So the less nades that get spammed at me are better.
Agreed. Agreed. I think nade damage is very inconsistent, and I understand it's an AOE kind of a tool, but
Hmm.
even then, I feel like dead on nades like might take out all your
It just
shields, or it
feels
might.
weird. That's all. That's just
Yeah,
like my whole point. It just feels not like inconsistent. Just like something feels off.
wonky, wonky for sure.
Hmm.
So the last thing that will be coming to the winter update is the disruptor getting a buff. It's a pretty simple buff though. They're just increasing the mag size from 10 to 12, and that's with the intention of the disruptor actually being able to kind of finish off an enemy.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think, Piff?
Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a yay in that one too. I mean, that's
I'm all for that.
pretty minimal change, but so as far as the like frags and stuff not hitting or bullets not being counted, they finally addressed desync and said that they're working on it, and they addressed desync in three different areas. So one was the grenades, one was the vehicles, and then one was the melees. I maybe trying to remember. Definitely melees, definitely vehicles, and then I think they grouped grenades and just like hit registration in general together.
Hmm.
But it's something that the team has finally addressed and is working on. I'm hoping that by the time season 3 comes out, that is polished. It feels like we were in alpha this last year, and now we're going into beta, and then we'll finally get a polished game by the time season 3
The
hits.
full release of the game.
So actually, like I'd argue that the melee system is not flawed because of desync, but it's flawed because of the inconsistent player collision. So in Infinite, I think it's the first Halo where like you could just phase through teammates.
Yeah.
Which one? It's it also throws me off because when I could pass through my teammates, but my grenades don't and my bullets don't, like then what's the point of having team damage in ranked modes
Right.
on your teammates? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not saying like from a logical standpoint. When I say logical, I'm not talking in terms of like I know we're playing a sci-fi game that takes place 500 years in the future. I'm just talking in terms of like the continuity. If like I can pass through my teammates, then why can't my projectiles? Why can't my bullets? Why can't my grenades? And that's always something that like catches me off guard. I pass through my teammate and then I try to throw a nade and it bounces right back at me and I'm just like, all right, there's that inconsistency right there. But
Yep. Yep.
I'd like to expand a little bit. So my what I think is when you don't have player collision across the board, it bleeds through to enemy players. Because what I've noticed in my experience, and a lot of people on my stream have noticed the same thing. Because I try to be like one of these. I try to be a self-aware, and I try not to be one of those people like every time I die, I have an excuse. I try to have self accountability, being like, hey, listen, if you out BR me, or if I get absolutely shit on, I'll be the first one to say it on stream live, like, "Hey, dude, I just got destroyed, man. Oh my god, I was that dude was one shot and he out BR'd me. Like, good kudos to him." But in the same breath, if I phase through somebody, or like I'm looking at somebody and they ninja me, like they're facing
Yeah.
me and they because they pass through my body and their melee registers with my back, I'm just like, what is that?
Yeah.
That's and that
It's so ridiculous.
I have a
yeah,
clip of that too. This guy literally thrustered through me and then ninja'd me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I
a couple of sorry.
no, you're
No,
good.
you're
You're good.
good.
A couple of days ago, and I was just because I literally this was off stream, but I tilted so hard. I was playing rank, and I backsmacked somebody, passed through them, and they backsmacked me. I almost quit the game. I never quit games. I
Oh.
almost left, dude. I almost left. I was so close. So I petition to bring back player collision across the board for
Yeah.
everybody. I think the melee system would fix itself if that happens.
I 100% agree with you because I had the same thing happen to me too. Like me and this guy were literally just like shooting each other, and like we both melee. I hit him in the front, and like we're literally standing right in front of each other, and he just melees me and it says he's ninja'd me when I'm looking right at him. I'm just like, how? How does that even
I
happen?
think at the very minimum they need enemy collision on.
Yeah,
I do think it'd be interesting though if they had teammate collision, if what jumps would be possible.
So here's the thing, and I thought this in the beginning as well. Enemy collision is supposed to be on.
Is it
It's
really?
supposed to be the lack of player collision is only supposed to be for friendlies. But see, that's how flawed it is. I literally played this game for months, and I remember I talked about it on stream for a lot. I'm like, dude, I can't believe there's no player collision on your enemy players. And then people were like, what are you talking about? There is. And then we went to custom games, and there actually is in custom
Wow.
games, like, for the most part. But that it's inconsistent. And my argument is that it's inconsistent because there's no player collision for your friendlies. I think if they
Mhm.
enforce player collision across the board, and that would happen so infrequently, like I don't even think it would be a thing.
If somebody like asked me true or false, there's enemy player collision, I would say false.
I would say false too.
I would
I
say
said
that
false for the
too.
longest time. I 100%, I was blown away. This was like at least 3-4 months into the game. I was playing with the understanding that there was no player collision at all.
Right.
I'm
And
seeing
dude,
the
it's been a year.
general
It's been a
trend.
year and you're under the assumption. I don't blame you, dude. I really don't blame you. It's not even like it's not even an ignorance thing. It's just what the game's relaying to you and what your experience in the game is versus what is actually happening in the game. It's not the same thing. That's also ties into desync.
Hmm. I think the general trend in Halo Infinite is just that inconsistency that happens in like multiple aspects.
Yeah.
And that's why the game just feels so weird right now, is because just like all this stuff just happens every single game when it just shouldn't, you know?
Hey, fingers crossed going forward though, boys.
Oh yeah, winter update's gonna be great. I really do hope it's gonna be great.
Yeah. I
So here's
I
here's
think
what
I
I've been
think we're on
saying
the
to
right
people.
track.
Here's what I've been saying to like my friends and the community. I'm like, listen, if Forge works as it's supposed to, even if it's a beta, it's gonna revolutionize the franchise. It's gonna bring back so many players. We're gonna see
Hmm.
so many amazing creations.
We
The
already
creative
have seen
community
some
is
nutty
come back.
ones and it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly, yeah. I'm like, look at what's been leaked. Like, one, the creatives are gonna come back to the game, and then they're gonna bring back the long coveted casual player base because they're going to be playing all these fun customs, all these fun concepts that like we haven't we like if you've what we've seen already. I think is just like 1% of what's possible and what we're going to see as long as Forge works.
Yeah, you're gonna get like it's basically like I was trying to explain to somebody to what Forge is the other day. I was like, it's Minecraft on crack, like Minecraft within Halo, which they actually had somebody replicated lockout with Minecraft
Yeah,
blocks.
Oh, really?
that
Yeah.
was so
Wow.
cool.
Which was
That was so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. Yeah, but hey Piff, I really appreciate you taking your time out of the day to do this with us.
Thank you so much.
Good conversation, and all your different experiences. It's very enjoyable for me, and I hope the listeners enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thanks once again. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's always I just love talking to other Halo fans, other Halo heads. Like that's always a great time for us. Just like even if we don't agree on everything, just have that discourse, that open discussion without us beginning to flame each other. I know you're a super cool dude, and that would never happen. But just like I always love that chance to like just talk to another individual who shares this passion and interest of mine.
Hell yeah, Piff. Well, appreciate you, man. Have a good one. All right. Once again, thank you to Piffin. Let's hop into the gaming news. What do you think?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Lead the way, buddy.
All right, so today on the gaming side, I know it's been a while, so we've missed a decent bit of gaming news,
And
but
just recap some things.
yeah, so we're gonna still keep up to date, with the weekly news and everything. But what should we start with? Should we start with the Halo Championship? Well, Halo Championship recap.
Green wall, baby.
Yeah, who won? Who won? Let us know.
Optic.
Mhm.
Optic closed it out. So they made it to the grand finals, got swept, but then the bracket got reset by C9,
Mhm.
and the bracket reset, they swept C9. So congratulations to Optic, you're Halo World Champions.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Formal. Absolutely love that guy.
Beast. So now he's one of two people that have a World Championship in Call of Duty and Halo.
Jeez, man.
Leggy.
Just absolute gamer. I would be inclined to call him one of the GOATs.
Oh, I mean, no doubt. I mean, there's only two people who have won Worlds in two different games.
Him?
FPS games, at least.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, who's the other one? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, no, I don't.
Okay.
But I know Formal's one of them.
My boy Formal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but dude, the championship was just so damn good, dude. It was so fun to watch. It had really good viewership on Twitch, and it just seemed like everyone was just so hyped to watch it, which is just like a really good sign to see for the game.
And Halo Land just looks so smooth. I can't wait till They addressed some of the desync issues that we touched on with Piffin.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked a lot of Halo, so we'll kind of just glance over that and move on to what we got up next here, Fishy.
Yeah, so shout outs again to Optic. Congratulations on the W, the win, the trophy, everything. You guys are absolutely insane. Proud of you boys. But moving on, switching gears a bit, we have another Call of Duty game that released this year. We got Modern Warfare 2. Not
You copping?
no.
I don't
Hell no. I actually, my original thought was like, no, I don't want to get it because it's Call of Duty again. But the only thing that piques my interest, one, the campaign. The campaign I heard was like just solid, not like like insane or anything, but it was like a solid campaign. And then two, they have like a new mode called Raids, which haven't been released yet. I think they are supposed to release a month after the game has come out, and it kind of like reminds me of like doing Destiny raids and everything. So like I think it's like a 3-player cooperative experience, and the first map is like you're on like a submarine base, and you have to you said you have to like solve puzzles, like fight waves of enemies, and then there's like different mechanics you have to do. Like you get like oxygen tanks, you have to like share with your teammates and everything, like share oxygen and everything. So that's what like piqued my interest when I heard about raids. But on the flip side, seeing all the other things, like in typical Call of Duty fashion, it's just filled with bugs, broken weapons as usual on release, and like that they're gonna sell microtransaction bundles for the broken weapons.
And even a map that I heard that they're potentially getting sued over if they kept it in the game.
Oh,
Did you hear about that?
a couple maps, yeah.
Oh, the museum in particular. I guess they never got the rights to put that realistic structure into the game, so they had to remove it immediately.
Yeah, and then they're getting some backlash on the Formula One map as well too, because it was.
I didn't see that one. What's that one about?
I think it's just like the same thing. They just like didn't have the rights, and like I don't know if like the course looked too similar to real life, and they just didn't have the rights. But like they got some backlash to that map, and then the museum map you're talking about. I think one other map too, but I think it was just like a singular building or something. But yeah, there's a lot of things going wrong with their maps on release, which is not good.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, I have seen a lot of things that are both positive and negative, just depending on who you're asking. Like, you ask some of these like top tier streamers, they're complaining about the movement. Other people are complaining about the maps or the TTK. But I've also heard a lot of people that have really enjoyed the game. But when you have such a wide audience, you're gonna have both positive and negative. So
right. But yeah, I mean, even though with all the good and bad things we just talked about, it still had an insane first 3-day sales for it. It actually topped over $800 million in its first 3 days, which completely baffles me. I don't understand how many people buy this game, because like in our friend group, I think only a couple of our friends have bought it. But I want to know who keeps buying these games year after year, because it's just like you're just getting the same product every time, and like the maps are different, but then you complain about how the maps are kind of dog shit, and you just want the old ones back. So I don't know how to make heads or tails of those numbers, and they made almost $1 billion in 3 days of a game releasing.
well, I mean, like for casual fan, Call of Duty is a staple. I mean, Madden sells well every year.
I know.
And I'm not saying that all Call of Duty fans are casual gamers. Don't get me wrong here, but like it's appealing to the masses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. But it also has
and it's always going to. You know what I mean? It's just a staple in gaming. It doesn't even have to be a good game. I mean, I don't know what the numbers were for Vanguard or Cold War, both games that we thought were trash. That both continue to sell well, and like I said, just like Madden sells well every year.
Yeah, and like the game's priced at $70 too. It's not a $60 game anymore.
I didn't even know that either.
Yeah, you have to pay.
Is that universal? Because there's some discrepancy there with charging more for
consoles and not. I have no idea what the price is on computer, but if it's $60 on computer, I'll be livid, because I was still pissed about the Tiny Tina's when we bought it, because we spent $75 on the game, and then I look on PC and it's at 60. because there's no next gen upgrade on PC. It's just whether your computer can run it or not.
Yeah, that's
And I
just
think
crock of
that's
shit.
I still think it's a scam with the next gen updates.
Yeah, I think we have touched on that pretty on the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Well,
I
it's
know
just
we
a
have.
big old crock of shit.
Still
but-
makes me angry.
Yeah, but like I said, when you're appealing to such a wide audience, you're gonna have both positive and negative. I guess the best thing to do is just give the game a go,
Mm-hmm.
and then decide from there, huh?
I'll come back to Call of Duty when Microsoft finally acquires Activision Blizzard.
So that's the thing, though, is it's not going to come to Game Pass.
What?
Yeah, confirmed not going to Game Pass.
Why?
It's one of the stipulations that Sony has. There's been a lot of drama with the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft, and that seems to be one of the stipulations, is that at least for, I think, 3 years, that the game Call of Duty will not be coming to Game Pass, which is unfortunate because that's the avenue I wanted to pursue to try out Call of Duty. But at this point, again, I'm looking up and into the future for Halo. I hope they can actually deliver on a lot of the things that they promised.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stick with Halo, and then when Warzone comes out, I'll dabble with some Warzone. But I think that's gonna be the route I take.
Yeah. I just So speaking about the Activision Blizzard acquisition and everything, how does Sony have so much pull with this acquisition as opposed to all the other ones that have happened like over the past year or so? And on the flip side, Microsoft has done nothing about Sony's acquisitions with their studios. So like, how is it that this is such a big discrepancy
Well, I
in the
think
gaming
just
industry?
The studio as a whole is just has more impact on the gaming industry than the previous acquisitions, both by Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, but like they didn't really try to do anything when we got Bethesda on Game Pass, you know. So and like their Bethesda is absolutely huge. Like they make insane amounts of money, and like they don't even release a game every year.
Well, I think that's part of the thing, though, is they're not releasing a game every year. It's not an industry shifting title like Call of Duty is.
I beg to differ. I think every game that comes out from Bethesda is industry shifting.
Yeah, but it's industry shifting every 7
Fallout.
years, not every year.
Fallout, Skyrim.
Oh, I'm not
Or Elder
discrediting those
Scrolls.
games and their impact on gaming at all. I'm just saying, Call of Duty, it's like somebody that would acquire EA Sports or something, right?
Yeah.
That's a title that's coming out every year, and if you have exclusivity on that every year, and that shifts the pendulum in Microsoft's favor in a big way. So I think that's where the biggest concern is. At the end of the day, I think Sony's a bunch of crybabies. But
True. Yeah, and like they still have an insane market lead over Microsoft, like minus like the subscription service with Game Pass as opposed to PlayStation Plus. But
And that was one of the defenses Microsoft brought up in this whole controversy, was the fact that This was
they're
like-
gonna be a
it's like-
monopoly now. But like you look at the numbers, and Sony's been
PlayStation's player
dominating.
base is, I think it's over 2 times as big console-wise than Xbox.
Yeah,
It's like 200 million to 50 million or something.
yeah,
Those numbers could be completely wrong, but just off the top of my head, I knew something like drastic. Like
yeah. Like more than double.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's this whole acquisition. Like it should have happened like months ago at this point.
It's gonna happen. It's just
And I think like most countries have been on board with the acquisition. I think the only one that's been halted right now is the EU.
I
And
think the EU and the US, I believe.
yeah, so the major thing with EU is like their major concerns with like monopolies and everything. But like again, you go back to the numbers, and Sony's been dominating the entire time. So it's just like what more is there to discuss? You're talking about monopoly. It just like shows like how big the numbers are in favor of one company, but you just look at the other company that's like arguing that point. They're just like, oh, they make way more than Xbox does.
Right, and the irony behind it too is they don't want any timed exclusivity, which is something they have repeatedly done. With
Oh
people.
yeah, it's like the most bullshit point of them all. They're just like, yeah, we can't let them have this timed exclusivity thing. It's just not in favor of the gamers. Meanwhile, they've done it with Destiny, Call of Duty, like every game that they can think of, where they have like It's especially like in Destiny, like they would give them like strikes, like really fun activities, and like for an entire year or more, like only for PlayStation.
Well,
Yeah, we can't do it on Xbox.
well, with Call of Duty specifically, they locked Spec Ops.
Yeah, the Spec Ops, yeah.
To only PlayStation.
It's right. Like you can't just lock entire portions of a game to one console.
I could be wrong on this. You'll have to let me know, but I do believe the Modern Warfare 2 remastered campaign was had a time and exclusivity on PlayStation as well. They got it before Xbox did.
Really?
I believe so. I could be wrong there.
I don't know.
This is why we need somebody, a producer, being able to fact check.
Yeah, we need a live fact checker right behind the camera.
When Worlds Collide is hiring,
minimum wage, no less than minimum wage.
you get paid in Tootsie Pops.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think that's all the news we have on Call of Duty. I mean, just take it as you will. It's another Call of Duty game. It's fun. It's not fun, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna all be based on the player.
Right. I'm not getting it unless it's like $5 on the store. So I'm just gonna wait on it.
Right.
But moving on. Have you been seeing the God of War commercials coming out for the game? That's supposed to come out, I think, in like a week or so.
I know you sent me the one, but there's been a handful of them are pretty interesting. Huh?
Yeah, there's two of them that stood out for me that I really liked. One of them, which I know I sent to you, it was a commercial with Ben Stiller, John Travolta, and LeBron James and their kids. And like they're all like in a circle together, kind of like doing like a group therapy type session. And it's just like the funniest thing ever, because it's just like Ben Stiller in like a full Kratos outfit and everything, and he's just like doing like a therapy session with LeBron and his kid, and then like John Travolta and his kid. Is just so funny. You have to, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it on YouTube, because it's a really good commercial.
That is something I really do appreciate about like PlayStation and Sony as a whole. Is I think all their commercials are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And these just take it to the next level. I know I've seen the one you were just referencing with Ben Stiller, but there's another one, a commercial in Japan or something.
Oh yeah, this one's a bit out there. Like I couldn't even like give you the title of the commercial because it's in Japanese, but I'm pretty sure if you just type in Japanese commercial God of War, it'll come up, and it's basically just like a kid's song commercial, but for God of War.
The irony.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like you just like see like these like Japanese guys like singing like a catchy simple tune, and then you like get like small snippets from the game of like Kratos just like absolutely wailing on these enemies and everything, and I think it's just hilarious to see, because it's just like, and you have like the funny Japanese side, and then just like God of War and Kratos just like killing enemies on the screen.
Yeah, I love that.
So if you get a chance, also watch that. Those are two really good commercials. And not me personally, I always hate commercials, and me giving a recommendation on watching one, that's pretty high.
Yeah, this guy is an avid.
I go out of my way to not watch ads whenever I can.
Leave the room.
Exactly. I'll literally turn my screen off if I see an ad. So definitely watch them.
Yeah. And you know, with our first podcast back, we are going to kind of move through this stuff relatively fast, on top of having the interview today.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to some more, not quite gaming news, but within the realm of gaming.
It's in the sphere, I'd say.
Within the nerdism of I don't know where I'm going there, but go ahead and break it down for us. It's pertaining to The Witcher.
Yeah, so I'm sure most of you have heard now if you're a Witcher fan, but Henry Cavill is leaving the show after the 3rd season, and he will be replaced by Liam Hemsworth, not Crimson Hemsworth.
You can't even get Thor, huh?
No, we can't even get Thor. So we get Thor's younger brother as the new Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, and it just breaks my damn heart hearing this, because the new most people are assuming the reason why he's leaving is because he's joining up again to be Superman for the DC universe, but I think there's more added layers to that.
I've heard
And
there's a lot of discrepancy between him and the directors.
Yeah.
They actually have a petition going now to get rid of the directors and bring Henry Cavill back.
yeah, and with the directors, also the show writers, and like a lot of articles with Henry saying like he was committed to like a 7 seasons for The Witcher and everything, and that like he's just been like a super fan of the Witcher series, like as am I absolutely love Witcher. And he was starting to run into problems early on with the show writers and how they were not staying true to the source material, like the books and the games and everything. And there's even reports where the show writers were like actively mocking the books and games and everything. And I can't wrap my head around how these writers get these jobs, because like you literally have the source material in front of your face. Just adapt it to live screen TV. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
and I get you want to put your creative freedom on it.
Yeah.
But
within reason.
Within a certain parameters. There's source material for a reason. If you want creative freedom, make your own damn show. Make your own original idea. You can't just take something that's been successful over the past decade and then just be like, no, let's just change everything, but keep it in the same universe.
And how many times are they gonna do this? Like,
yeah,
with Halo, I mean, look at the backlash Halo got. I mean,
oh yeah,
obviously we've talked about Halo 5 fucking times this episode already. But it's just like with all these video game adaptations, why are they veering so far away from the thing that made these games and these stories so beloved by the fans?
Yeah, so beloved and special. I don't understand. And it's just like like when you do some digging, like I did some digging, especially for like the Halo show writers and everything, like most of the writers on the show were like either like first time writers or like they worked on like one show previously that wasn't even successful. So I just like, I don't know if they're like cutting the budget on writers and everything for the show just to save some money, or what, or they're just like really bad at hiring. I don't understand how you could be so bad at just making a story that's already there, And just that's partially why the reason why Henry Cavill left. Like, one being going back to Superman, and two, he's just like had so many clashes with the directors and show writers. So he will be gone season 4. Luckily, we'll get him in season 3, which hopefully comes out next year. But season 4 won't come out for at least another 2-3 years at this point.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just wish Liam the best. I mean, we all want the show to keep being what it has been the first 2 seasons. I mean, I think I speak for us both that we both really enjoyed it and want the story of The Witcher to continue. So
yeah,
hopefully you'll be able to carry the mantle.
Don't fuck it up, Liam. I'm counting on you.
All right, man. So now we're going to hop into our new segment.
Ooh, baby.
Which we will be referring to as Frindt's Freaking Fantastic 5 for friends, family, females, and fans. Or for short, FFFFFFF. So,
that's what you're going with?
That's verbatim from Frindt. And I mean, if you guys have seen...
This is the first time I'm hearing about it. Yeah. That kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, so as you guys know, if you're fans of When World Collide, Frindt's personality, and that is just right on the mark with it. So we're gonna have 5 different topics, which we will spin a wheel to decide what happens next week. And there's a 6th spot in the wheel, where those of you in the Sandlot will be able to decide which one we pick.
Ooh.
For this first week, we are doing conspiracy theories. So I am going to pull up Frindt's conspiracy theory for this week. All right, here we go. See what Frindt's got for us.
What do you got for us, Frindt?
So, there's been something going around, getting everybody sick, but there have been some peculiar rumors going around with it. Some people believe the theory that you can actually get sick by playing in an Xbox party with someone who is contagious. Now, I personally don't see how the common cold could transfer through Bluetooth, but I also don't understand how sound transfers through Bluetooth, and that happens every day. I did some research. It turns out Bluetooth is actually named after King Harold Gromson. That's right. The same King Harold Grossman that united Norway and Denmark.
Oh, yeah, that one.
958. Now remember that number. But first, Norway. What else is Norway known for? Obviously, its national fish is the cod. Now, what game was just recently re-released on Xbox? Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, also known as COD. Fishy, but it doesn't end there. Remember the number 958? 9 minus 5, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 958 equals 4. Who is Call of Duty made for? Gamers. Gamers like fish, but also gamers like Smalls. How does Smalls play his games? Not on Apple, because an apple a day keeps the doctor away. No, not an iPhone, Xbox. Now, who owns Xbox? Microsoft.
Oh my god.
What else is both micro and soft? Carl's penis. How do you fix that? Viagra. The link between Xbox and the medical field is Claritin Clear. It's there. Somebody's profiting off of this. But who? That's the question. Is it such a leap to say that somewhere the medical field is using Xbox parties to help sell Claritin, Dayquil, and other medicines? I don't know. Makes you think.
God damn it, Fred.
That was excellent. So initial thoughts on Frindt's conspiracy theory that in fact you do get sick from Xbox Live parties, and
That's what you got out of that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that felt like a fever dream or something. You just like, you know, like when you're dreaming and someone's explaining to you something, like that's what it felt like right there. Oh my god.
So I actually know this is a conspiracy that goes through the Sandlot that I know Tink is a big avid connoisseur of the Xbox sickness, right?
Yeah.
Through Xbox Live parties.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? There's any validity to this conspiracy?
I'd say a little bit of validity because I remember when I had like a slight cold and everything. I was just like sneezing, a little cough, and then I shit you not, like I think like 2-3 days later, Tink was also like sneezing and coughing.
Massacre just got sick. He wasn't feeling good. We gotta look out, buddy.
We gotta watch out for these Bluetooth sicknesses. I think it's a real thing.
All right, so I think we're putting our stamp of approval on this one. Those of you in the Sandlot, when you're sick, you will not be invited to the Xbox Live party.
100% confirmed by the one and only Frindt.
My nose is running.
6 feet away.
But here's my question, though. Do Discord chats work? Is that how we get rid of the sickness? Is the correlation with Microsoft?
Maybe it goes faster because it's through the internet and not Bluetooth. I don't know. We got to check the gigabytes per sickness.
Let us know in the Sandlot Discord what you guys think. All right. So to discuss decide which one we're gonna do next week, I got a little wheel here, and we'll just give this guy a spin. So again, our different topics here are Mad Libs, the Sandlot picks, conspiracy, high thoughts, goats, and sell me this. So for next week's podcast, Frindt will be discussing.
That's a nice wheel you got there.
Not a bad wheel, huh?
Not a bad wheel.
Mad Libs. So this is one that will have the Sandlot Discord. You guys will be a part of this. We're going to be asking you for adjectives, nouns, verbs that will be worked into Frindt's Mad Libs, and then that's something that we'll be reading next week during the podcast.
So is he rapping for us?
No, you remember the Mad Libs, like in the book? It'd give you like a story and it'd ask you for a noun, verb.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we're going to have our own When Worlds Collide Mad Libs. And we want everybody in the Discord to contribute. So more to come on that. Stay tuned on Discord.
Nice little segment. I like it. That was funny.
Bad, huh?
That was a good segment. Ooh, baby.
All right. So we're going to hop on into the sports now. I don't know why I went with the southern accent there, but here we are. All right. So I got kind of a curveball for you.
Yeah.
Should the MLB just allow cheating?
What? What do you mean by that?
Should the MLB openly allow cheating?
No.
Okay, and here's where this is all stemming from, okay? I don't know why I keep going back to this because I just keep bouncing in between videos here, but so this is the latest incident that people are accusing Valdez, the pitcher for the Astros, of cheating.
Mhm.
As you can see in the video here, he's gonna be rubbing his hands a lot. He switched gloves. Before he got checked by the referee, he was wiping his pants. Astros are notorious for cheating. People are looking for something to accuse them of cheating. It's no secret though that baseball's had their problems with cheating.
Oh yeah, big time.
So, coming back to my question of the day, should the MLB just openly allow cheating? Since a lot of people seem to believe it's happening behind closed doors as is.
Well, I don't think they should allow cheating because if they do it, then like how far will it go, you know? It's just like how far are teams willing to go to cheat if it's even allowed, and then the state of the game just gets degraded even more vastly than it is now.
Just void them all up, I'd say.
Right.
More home runs, more entertainment. Who's complaining about that? Everybody loves more offense in the NBA and NFL. Void these guys up again.
You're gonna soil America's pastime.
It's already soiled.
Soiled it.
Soiled it.
So okay, so what is he's wiping his hands down
All right,
and everything?
so you tell me what you see here. Is this enough to make you think that there's cheating going on or not? You see, he's wiping his
Yeah,
wrist,
he's
wiping
like
his hands,
grabbing
and
his.
trying to coat the ball. Enough there or no?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like. I mean, like the way that he's doing it's a little suspicious, but it's, usually when like you like see like some sort of substance like on their hands, or whatever.
Starting
it's, like,
in 2017,
it
the
changes
Houston
the,
Astros conceived an illegal sign stealing system.
Oh, and there's the Astros cheating again.
There's I already forgot what the heck I was talking about. So like when you see like a substance on like a player, it usually you can like sort of see it because like it's usually shiny against their skin, so like that like indicates that like there's a foreign substance on them that they're using for like the ball or whatever. Right there, I mean his hands looked a little shiny. I don't know if that's from sweat or whatever. Doing the thing with the ball like where you just like like grab it and just like squeeze it a bit, like players do that all the time, but like the fact that he was like going to the palm of his hand
Switch
and
the
then
glove mid-game.
yeah.
So I will also state this, that he was checked multiple times during the game. Referees or umpires didn't find anything. So it's, I mean, based on your biases, you're going to lean one way or the other. Either
Yeah.
way, I think I speak for America when I say fuck the Astros. But just a little update on the series itself. It is tied 2-2 right now. Game 3, Phillies absolutely shelled the Astros with home runs. Blew them out. And then this previous game, the Astros threw a no-hitter. So now we're tied up at 2-2. So as far as the MLB rules go, or news goes, there you go.
I think I heard a wild stat that every time the Phillies have won a World Series, we have gone into a recession. So they're getting there. So if they win the World,
fuck Astros.
I want the Astros to win only because I fucking hate Philly. But yeah, the stat is and like somebody like also put in like Call of Duty too. It's like every time like a Call of Duty is released and that the Phillies have gone to the World Series or won the World Series, we've gone into a recession afterwards. And the state of our economy right now, I don't know. It's not looking
great.
too good.
Not looking great. I guess that's a good rationale then.
Right? Yeah.
It might be a little bit bigger.
I'm cheering for the Astros.
All right, so let's hop on into the NFL news. There's plenty to cover, but I just want to cover briefly the trade deadline and some of the big trades that were made. So we have Nyheim Hines going to Buffalo, and Indianapolis is getting Zach Moss and a conditional 6th round in 2023 in return. The Jaguars are going to acquire Calvin Ridley from the Falcons, still suspended for the rest of the season, but will be able to play next season, for a 2023 5th rounder, as well as a 2024 4th rounder that is a conditional pick. The Dolphins are acquiring Jeff Wilson Jr. For a 5th round pick to the 49ers. But here are some of the bigger ones. We have Bradley Chubb going to the Dolphins with a 2025 5th rounder, for Chase Edmonds, a 2023 1st rounder, and a 2024 4th rounder going to the Broncos. So that has big impact IRL, not so much fantasy. as you know, I'm a big fantasy football guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some of these other ones have some impact on fantasy football. How much exactly, I'm not sure. The Bears are acquiring Chase Claypool in return for a second rounder, which is insane. I've seen all kinds of memes on the internet about how the Browns got Amari Cooper for a 5th round, and they just acquired Chase Claypool for a second, which when you compare the two, seems insane.
Oh yeah.
I think there'll be minimal fantasy impact there just because Chicago only throws the ball like 10 to 15 times a game. So, I mean, they got Darnell Mooney, and he hasn't done much just because he's only getting like 3-4 targets a game.
Yeah.
Another one that may have some fantasy impact is the Vikings acquiring tight end TJ Hawkinson. I think it's more of a pivot for him personally, but you could see Kirk Cousins' stock increasing. And so in that trade, the Vikings are acquiring TJ Hawkinson, a 2023 4th rounder, a 2024 5th rounder, that's a conditional pick, and giving to the Lions a 2023 2nd rounder and a 2024 3rd rounder.
Wow.
These were not so close to the trade deadline, but still occurred and should have some fantasy impact. Chiefs are acquiring Kadarius Toney from the New York Giants for a 3rd and 6th rounder in 2023. And then Robbie Anderson to the Cardinals for a 2024 6th rounder. And then the big one that everybody's probably like, hey, Smalls, I hope you're not forgetting about Christian McCaffrey. And how could I after the week he had last week? I think the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson in like 2003 or something like that to not only have a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, but also threw a touchdown.
Wow.
And that was his first game on the Niners after getting.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
How many fantasy points you got that week? It was
38.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was almost like 40 points that week. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Cheers to you, Christian McCaffrey owners. I would assume you got a dub this week, and I'm pretty happy. In return, the Panthers are going to be getting a 2023 2nd rounder, 3rd rounder, 4th rounder, and 5th rounder.
Wow. Damn.
All in 2023. So Panthers are stockpiling some picks. Those are the main ones of emphasis I wanted to point out, as well as their fantasy implications. I don't know necessarily if people care as much for the defensive players, unless you're locked in around the league IRL. But yeah, as well, outside of the MLB and the NFL, we also did have the start of the NBA season over the last week or two. And, we haven't been here for a while. So
Cavs have been electric, baby.
Us Cleveland fans, they're ranked 3rd in ESPN's power ranking. Let's go Cavs.
Hell yeah.
Fuck the Celtics, 0-2. You can suck it all, you Boston. But someone that's not having such a good start is the Brooklyn Nets.
Ooh.
So not only are they starting their season 2-6, they have now fired their head coach Steve Nash,
Really?
but are now dealing with Kyrie's dumbass. And if you didn't, again, yeah. So if you didn't already know Kyrie was a dumbass, this will just solidify it for you. Recently on his social media, he has been supporting a anti-Semitic movie from 2018. And I will not name the title of the movie. I do not want to support it in any way or give it any publicity. It's also an inappropriate name. So we're not going to touch on that here. But I know Commissioner Silverman. It's Silverman. I'm pretty sure it's Silverman.
Yeah.
Is going to meet with Kyrie, and we'll see if there's any disciplinary actions that will come from it. But just from your opinion, what do you think a proper punishment for Kyrie would be, if any?
I don't know, to read a fucking book or something. I don't know. The dude thinks the Earth is the dude thinks the Earth is flat. I don't know if there's much hope for him. So it's a punishment. I mean, what way to punish someone who's an idiot? By making him do something that's smart.
Well,
I don't know. It's
the way I
fine him, I guess. Fine him.
At the minimum, but I just look at it. If you look just over into the NFL, where there's been players that have said racist things, and rightfully so, they have been reprimanded. If nothing else, they've been just kind of blackballed by the league. And I think that would be the appropriate course of action here.
Yeah.
Especially in the league like the NBA that is very outspoken on their, rights for all kinds of
Yeah,
different
just like their
individuals.
inclusivity with everything.
Yeah, and so I think the NBA especially is going to need to take a stand on this in one way or the other. And unlike a lot of the other leagues, I do think the NBA has the best commissioner, so I think he'll be able to hopefully talk to Kyrie and set some sort of precedent that this is not acceptable.
Right, just something, Yeah, I agree with you with that.
So we'll see what comes out of that. More news to come. Check in next week. Last thing I want to touch on here with the NBA on a brighter note, the soon-to-be all-time points leader LeBron James is now at 37,237. He needs 1,151 more points to surpass Kareem, and they already have a website dedicated to the projection of when this is going to happen. So they're projecting it to happen in 43 games, which would put us out to January 28th.
Really? Wow. That's not far away at all. Holy shit.
No, it'll happen this season. That potentially LeBron James will become the all-time points leader in the NBA.
I mean, if he attains that goal, I mean, will there be any discrepancies on whether or not he's the GOAT?
Yeah, there's always going to be.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I think much like Tom Brady, like the sustainability of these guys being able to perform
for this long,
this good for this long,
mm-hmm.
I think the longevity surpasses rings potentially. I mean,
I think he's the GOAT. I think he's the GOAT, regardless of whether you like him or hate him. I think he's the GOAT. Can't deny that.
Too, and that's that's a discussion in and of itself that could last hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So like I said, we're just trying to keep it relatively brief this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting back into the swing of things here, guys. And before we close up today, I did want to point out one other thing. We do want to start having a segment called the Sandlot Spotlight. Basically, we want to point out someone within the Sandlot that is doing some cool shit that week. Again, there'll be more information in the Discord, but if you have a cool clip or you're working on something cool, go ahead and put it in that tab under the Discord for the Sandlot Spotlight, and we look forward to highlighting people within the community doing cool shit.
Yeah, it could be anything from like getting like a super rare achievement that's really hard, speed running a game, like literally anything that like stands out from your normal gameplay. We'll highlight it.
Look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. Hope you like the new setup. You like some of the new segments. We're very enthused to be getting back into the flow of things.
You sound very enthused.
Hey man,
it's been a morning. Okay,
it's been a week.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thanks again, everyone. And
good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. See you next week.
See you next week.